I recently had a sit down with one of a long time friend, and they were talking about, they're in this new business pursuit, and they were talking about how they admire their mentor. Sometimes you can have a mentor who doesn't know you're actually their mentor. And so how they admire their mentor, and they love this kind of business they're doing, and they hope that they'd reach that capacity of which they are, in terms of scaling their business and everything. And I recently have been reading this book, a very good book, by the way, a very good book. I love it. And in this book there is a story of Jethro and Moses. How Moses parted the Red Sea, and Jethro was like, there is no other God aside from your God. Now I believe there is no other God aside from your God. And in this book, it talks about character and humility. In that instance of Jethro and Moses, Moses and Jethro did not see eye to eye with a lot of things. And for even Jethro to acknowledge, okay, now I believe that there is no other God aside from your God. There is no other greater God aside from your God. And in my friend's story, their mentor has scaled to a point where they now have, multiple businesses set up in different locations. And he was like, but people are saying, what, of course, wanatumia majini. And I was like, it's just a mentality sometimes for people to satisfy their lowness, or satisfy the fact that they're comfortable with where they are. And I realized, especially as Christians, we are not very disciplined. And I have a friend that's very frugal. And when I say frugal, I mean he pushes himself to the max. And I've seen this with his body. I've seen this with the things that he has been able to achieve. It's like, if I just had a half of this kind of discipline. Because listen, I know myself and I'm working on it. I'm a touch person. I love to touch this and then leave it, and then touch this other thing and then leave it, and then go back, and then it's like now we are starting again. And so I'm learning. I love that life. You learn a lot, and it comes, there's always a price to pay with the lessons that you learn. But I've learned to accept it more positively this time. And before we continue, I have this product. Look, if you're a snacky person but still want to remain healthy, I feel like this is actually for you. So we have our best-selling product, which happens to be our cashew nuts. Guys, this is it's just something else inside of your mouth. And then people asked, can we have a bigger packet? Yes, you can. So there is this 1 kg packet just for you, literally just for you. And so our mother products, let me just say that, because this is where we started when we were starting the brand. We have the baobabs, and we have the achari and kashata. Watu achari mko wapi? Vigelegele hapo kwa comments. So we have some acharis and kashatas right here. So if you're a snacky person, you're a sweet tooth but still want to remain healthy, these are your products. Because if you look at achari, they're made with mangoes. If you look at kashata, the main ingredient is coconut. Baobabs, the main ingredient is baobab. Baobab has a lot of antioxidants and fiber. Cashew nuts, I know that cashew nuts are just the most healthier option. I think that's why it's our best-selling product. But yeah, so if you'd like any of them, just DM, or Our number is 0769161026. We're just going to display it here so that you can make your order there. But like, let's get into the business of Jethro and Moses. And I was just talking about discipline. We are not disciplined as Christians. We just want the Holy Spirit to work things for us and just, sit there, relax, cruise around, and just have it our way. And I feel like that's bad. And then now start telling people that, they are rich because they have Majini. Look, I have been watching Pastor Shola's channel for a while now, especially the Beneath the Surface videos, and it talks about these encounters with the spirit world and satanism and all of that. Not really satanism, but the agents of the devil. And one thing that I've noticed is that for you even to be granted those powers, you have to go through a certain level of discipline. Like, there are things, there's nothing as something for nothing. This one you have to pay. You'd be told to go lie in the graves. You'll be told to maybe rape your mom or lie with your mother. Like, how can you do things like that? There always has to be a sacrifice. And I feel like the sacrifice is usually a portal for them to be able to access what you have and who you are, because they want to possess you. And if they can possess you, then they can possess your bloodline and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is, for them, okay, let's say they're using those things, there has to be a certain level of sacrifice and discipline. And I feel like that's something, and this is for me too, like, that's something that we are not ready to apply into our lives. They are ready to fast for 40 days. Maybe a 1 day fast, it's very hard for me. They're ready to do these things. So if we are really going to paint this shadow of Anatomia Majini, that's why they are successful, then at least let's try having the discipline that they carry and working on that discipline in us, and then see how that can get us far, and now accuse them of what they're trying to do, because we are not ready to go for it. We are not ready to get that deep. We are not ready to get into the mud and get our hands dirty and all of that. So before we paint a certain name for someone or for something, I'm very guilty of this. I've said these things before because I've seen it, but I realize right now that I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not ready to go in that deep, and that's why I have average results, And so, like we said, it's a work in progress thing. We're still working on it. And so something else that I noticed, even with this relationship of Jethro and Moses, it's humility. Listen, for an idolater to tell you that this is how you're supposed to do business, and you being able to listen to them and actually follow the advice that you've been given, I feel like that's a clap to Moses, because a lot of times we receive advice from the right person, but we judge them from maybe how they conduct their businesses. Yes, it's true. You can be able to see, okay, is this an advice? Is this something that I can? But do not judge them from that point of view. Okay, they do their business because they have these things working for them. No, you have to see the other side of, okay, they've done business for 18 years. Of course, they have experience. They have, they know how business is handled. And so we can see from this example of Jethro and Moses, Jethro had lived so long than Moses. And so while Moses was having a long line judging people, Jethro is like, no, you're getting tired. Find people to delegate this stuff to. And if a case is too hard for them to judge, then they can come to you, and now you can take on the hard cases. But for now, this long line is not even making sense. Like, find people who can be able to help you with this task that you're doing. So be able to delegate the task that you, and however that advice comes in, like sift it, but don't just push it off with them. Don't push it off because maybe in your head he's not the right person to give me advice. And I was talking about prophecy the other day, and I was saying we are so quick to accept a well packaged and wrapped up, prophecy when it comes. But when it comes muddy and tied up in shit, we are not ready to embrace it. And so be ready to embrace even the dirt and see, okay, does this fit in my life, And so I hope this has helped someone. So something that I learned, you do not change people by telling them what to do, but your actions are what will actually change them. Like, look, they parted the Red Sea and Jethro was like, truly, there is no other greater God than the God that you serve. You will succeed, and they will say, truly, there is no other greater God than the one that you serve. If you've come this far into the video, this is the recap. Listen, remain humble. Remain humble. It doesn't matter where the advice comes from. Sift it, but also be ready to take it and run with it. And also, you cannot change someone. Let your actions do the changing for them. Let your actions do the speaking. And listen, I'm just going to ask for a gentle request. If you have come this far to the video, please just subscribe and like this video. I know by this it will reach more people, and so more people will be able to, from people that normally not take, pay attention to. As someone doesn't want to kupatia good advice, it just depends with what you're hearing, because you can be hearing the right thing, but when it comes to your ear, it is sifted because of what you have perceived as right in your own mind. And so if you've come this far, just hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with a friend. And of course, remember to purchase our baobabs, our cashew nuts, our cherries, and all that good things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.